So command and
Can't hear you, Carly.
So let's see if this is better. So we're going to talk through command and opportunities. We're going to start with how to make a contact, and then building an opportunity from there, and then how we sort of have our pipeline set up. So you start to make an opportunity by going to your contacts widget on the side, or applet, I think is technically what it's called. And if you are on a team, you want to make sure that you are in your team account. And the way that you would check that is if you click on your icon here at the top, and you either have your personal one under other accounts, or if you or your team one under other accounts, and then it indicates up here which one you're currently in. So just about everything for our team goes under the team account. I think if I clicked into Carly's, it would probably be empty because all of her contacts should be in the teams area. So you can see when she goes into her team account, the contacts, there's lots of people in here. If she's working with a new buyer that we haven't, or seller that we haven't worked with before, or that isn't in command yet, she can just go ahead and add them in the add contact area. You want to add as much information as you can, but the only thing that's required is some sort of name on this first line. So that's a full name. So we're going to do Carly Duckworth test. And then we can add as much as we want to her information, or as little. And there's also some more information down here where you might have additional phone numbers or that sort of thing. The about has birthdays and anniversaries, which usually, especially after we've done a transaction, we come in here and put the home anniversary in there. And then oh, sure. Collaborators are for this contact. So who has like editing power of this contact? So if she knows this is going to be a buyer, she'll right away add me, and then Cassandra is another admin on our team. If she knows that like she and Corey might show houses to this person, then she can add Corey right away. And then Zach is always pretty much always added as a collaborator. You can also do this at the opportunity stage. This is to like edit the contacts information. So if you don't add anybody here, it shouldn't be a huge problem. But then when we go to make a opportunity, then you can add team members at that point too. And I, of course, canceled it instead of making it. So let's just do that. So then we can go ahead and make the opportunity. Sure. So Carly was just saying, sometimes if she knows that she entered somebody into the system and she can't find them after the fact, that then she will check if maybe they got entered into her personal account instead of the team account. So now we have our contact here. You can go right here to opportunity and do create an opportunity, or most times I'm going to go right to the opportunities applet on the side, and that will bring me to my pipeline. And then at that point, I'll make the opportunity from there. Oh, we're still loading. Okay, and so you'll see it'll come up with our market center, our team. Zach is our flagged as the rainmaker in the system. And so he's always the owner for any team opportunities. And we are either a buyer or seller. We'll be a buyer. We can select our new person that we just wrote in there. And if there's a co-buyer, you can also add them in. It'll automatically make the opportunity name, and it's usually their name and whether it's a buyer or a listing. For listings, I always add a dash and write the address in there so that then you can find it from the address. For buyers, you obviously can't do that when they're just looking at homes. And so I just leave it as it is. But then when we get an accepted purchase agreement, I again go back and add that address in there. It just helps everybody on the team be able to find it faster. And it really, really helps the office to be able to find it. The commission rate, I always just put our standard for what it might be for our buyer at that point. That's a required field, so you have to fill it out when you create the opportunity. And then it wants to know what phase and stage to put it in, which we'll show you this a little bit more in depth in just a minute. And then these are your assignees. And this is where this is a really important part, especially if you're on a team, so that the people who you assign to this opportunity see them in their command account and see them along the pipeline. So if Carly just created this without adding any assignees to it, it would only live in her account, even though it's a team opportunity. But if she adds me and Cassandra and Zach and Cole, they will see this opportunity in their command account as well, which for our team is really important, because if anybody else shows a house or is going to do any sort of paperwork for this buyer, they need to be able to access the DocuSign room that's associated with this command opportunity. I know not everybody uses DocuSign, but for us, that's a really important part, is that everybody can see the opportunity with potential buyers or sellers as they're working through that process. So we'll go ahead and create this opportunity. This, once you have an accepted purchase agreement, so I add it to the opportunity name, but I also add it into this property area so that the address, it lives in both of those locations. And then the other piece you'll notice is that we are in the cultivate phase and the possibility stage here. And we can take a look at those different periods right now. So I'll go one screen back. So this is where you start with opportunities. This is how you get there, is the opportunities applet on the side. We are in a team account, so we're looking at Team Lucky Ducks opportunities. And the phases, the cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, those are all the same across the whole command system. Everybody has those phases, and closed being the last one. Within the phases are the stages, and those you can edit. So you edit it up here, and then you can make as many or as few as you want. And then you have this probability column. And the idea behind that is how likely they are to actually close. So you'll see for our cultivate, our first stage is possibilities. So this is somebody who, is your husband's coworker who one time at a happy hour told you he's probably going to move in the next 3 years. He's into possibilities, right? He has a 5% chance that I'm actually going to close that deal, but I don't want to lose track of him, right? I want to ping him every once in a while. I want to know that I should be talking to him about real estate the next time I see him. And if I don't see him for a while, reach out in some way. Then for our team, we have the like 6 months or more out, like they're going to work with us. But their timeline is still really long. They go there. And then our third category for this stage is I'm trying to set the buyer consult appointment. And so it's, you know, I've called, we've talked real estate, they say they're going to do it, but I don't actually have a date in my calendar to get them, you know, under contract with the team. So that's how we have Cultivate set out. And then you'll see one of the stage or phases is appointment. And this phase for our team drives Zach nuts because I have 3 different statuses or stages: the scheduling, the scheduled, and the had, like kept, but they didn't sign the doc. They didn't sign buyer rep. And so the scheduling to me is you're no longer working on an appointment. They've agreed to have the appointment. It's just not in your calendar yet. So you're trying to find a date that works. The scheduled are, you know, it's on the calendar for next Tuesday. I'm getting buyer docs prepped, that sort of thing. And then our kept are those who I had the appointment. They said they're going to get back to me. And I don't have a signed contract because our next phase is active. And you'll see the first stage of this section is they're under contract, but they're not actively looking. So they're under buyer rep contract. And so these are people who have signed a buyer rep, but they are not going out every weekend, for sure, not showing every weekend. They might be on an auto search, but you're not talking to them on the regular. And then I have another phase here that is searching. These are more of our, you know, somebody on the team will show them onesies and twosies here and there as they find something that piques their interest. And then we have a showing. These are people who are out every weekend. These are 30-day, we're going to get them under contract type people. They are really active buyers. Lots of people put this category or take this stage and have their phases be A, B, and C buyers. I just call them something different, but it's very similar, right? Like showing would be my A buyers. They're out every weekend. Searching would be my B buyers. They're on a search. We're looking for them, but they're not, you know, writing offers every weekend. And then our active or under contract, but not active would be your C buyers. And then I finally have a phase here that's negotiations. So they're writing an offer and we're just waiting to hear back. So they're kind of living in that space. Usually that's a very short stop, hopefully. From there, we go to our under contract stage. And then you can see I've customized this to our team's sort of benchmarks within the transaction. Inspections. We have 3 right now that are in an inspection. We're in the appraisal time period for these people. So we're through the inspection or we didn't have one. We are waiting on that appraisal to get back. Or, you know, scheduled or, you know, at any point in the appraisal timeline. After the appraisal is cleared, we have like a general financing. They're doing those last items before they're clear to close. And then once we get the clear to close, they're moving into that category. So we're really just waiting to close. There's nothing that can go wrong at this point. Oh, yep. So Carly pointed out to show that these are your collaborators. When we made the opportunity, we had selected who was an assignee of the opportunity. And so for Claire LaRue here, these are all the people who are part of her opportunity. And so everyone who's listed there sees her opportunity within their command system. So if I were to log in, we're in Carly's command account right now, but if I were to log in, she would be in my pipeline as well. Same with Corey, but if I logged in as Cole, who is a different agent on our team, he wouldn't have access to her because he's not working with her. So that's kind of nice that you can limit like who sees what and how at that point. Last category here, or phase, is closed, and they only stay in closed for a little while. Command just like automatically moves people out of the closed stage. Otherwise, we just have, you know, tons and tons of opportunities that just hang out there. So that's our buyer pipeline. Our seller pipeline is a little more consolidated in terms of the stages. So this is under cultivate. We have a 90-day, 60-day, 30-day. So it's just where are they? When do we think we'll list their home? We have the appointment. It's the same category as those last time. And then we have active, and for us, it's either they're prepping or they're active on the market. So if they've signed a listing if they've signed a listing contract, they would go right into the prepping category. So they are not on the market yet, but they will be soon. And then we have our active listings here. And then we have the under contract, which mirrors the buyer under contract. So we have inspections, appraisal, financing, clear to close, and then closed. So those are those same categories that we move our people through. Once you enter the details about a transaction, you'll see our little money comes up. And that is once you've done the commissions tab, you'll see the commission that is there, or it's an estimate based off of what you put in the details tab. So like this one is a listing. We knew all the details when we made, when we entered the documents, we put them in here. And so you can see that it's already calculated. And then it will populate to this sort of tracker on the side. So based on those percentages that you assign to however many to the contacts and the opportunities, it calculates this. So you'll see a difference between like potential and probable. It's based on those percentages and how likely you are to actually get everybody who's under or in this in our pipeline actually to the closing table. And the other thing to keep in mind is if you, so I'm logged in as Carly right now. She is assigned to several opportunities that other people on our team are working, but that she would have access to if she needed to jump in and help with somebody's transaction. And so those are also populating in her commission thing, which wouldn't actually be accurate, right? They're not her buyers. She might just be tagged in their opportunity because she showed them one house, or they had a question about paperwork, and so they tagged her in that. Like Zach's will be really like a whole team view because he's on every opportunity. It's not a realistic like take home dollar amount for every agent, but Corey and Cole, who are buyer's agents on our team, have a more realistic potential on that side. So is there anything more you want me to talk through about pipelines? Cody, do you have anything you'd like us to point out from an office market center perspective about opportunities? You might not be watching. That's okay.
I think you covered it pretty well. As far as like being able to find the opportunity is probably the most important to the office. And yeah.
Okay.
I think you're good.
Thank you. All right. Maybe I'll have you do InDesign. Over here.
Okay, can everyone hear me still? Okay. So as I was mentioning before I started recording, we use a couple of different things when it comes to designing marketing pieces. And one of the things that we found through COVID is the paper marketing for us, at least in our team, is not something that people, it wasn't getting a good ROI. People weren't taking flyers from listings. And so we really have shifted to digital types of designs, whether that be like a video or a slideshow that we put together, or a Instagram or Facebook post or that sort of thing. So designs in Command is one way that you can do those. We use this and Canva kind of depending on the need. And part of it is because we used Canva prior to Command existing. And so we have some historical pieces that are in there that we just edit from. So the nice thing about designs is that it's similar in the sense of like drag and drop that Canva has. It doesn't have quite as much flexibility in my experience, but then it has way more real estate related marketing pieces versus like having to create from, ground zero in Canva that wouldn't have necessarily the real estate specific data. So to get to designs, it's just similar to opportunities. It's down towards the bottom here. It's the one with the little paintbrush. You would just click on that once you're logged in Command. And you can create a design, you can import a design, you can search for designs. So it just sort of depends on what you're looking for. So we'll give it like a minute here. So it's updating me that like they've switched me to my individual account. I don't think you do a team account. You can't do a team account right now. Oh yeah, so good point there. It's going to switch you to the individual. So if you go back and you're wanting to do something on your team account, you're going to have to go up to this and toggle down and select your team account. So we want to, let me see if there's, so here's where you can find like your old things. You can, let's see. So if you click create a design, then that's where it's going to ask you what you want to design. We normally are clicking on this social more than anything else. I just don't do a whole lot of email blasts and videos. We use a different program for. And like I said, print, we're not using that for that much. You could use the print ones and just save them as a PDF and then upload it to wherever you're wanting to put it as far as social media. Or emails or whatever it may be where you would need those. What I like about the social one is that they're already formatted to be the correct size of document, like correct size to fit into Instagram or fit into like Facebook or wherever you're posting it, which is nice. So we're going to click social and give it a second here to load. And so there's all different kinds of stuff over here, what you could use this for. So listings, we'll just click on that as an example. So coming soon, if you have properties that are in the coming soon status, they have these really beautiful designs, and all you have to do is literally click on one and drop in your photo and the details about it. So I'm just gonna pick this one, and you'll click use up in the corner here. It's gonna open it just like it sort of does in Canva or like a drag and drop system that you maybe have used for this. When you create your profile in Command, you will add what they call your assets. So like your photos, any additional like logos that you would want. So like there's our Team Lucky Duck. But once those are there and you put them into your profile, then they're always there and they will always pop up so that you will have access to them. So Janelle, I know you're mentioning like having somebody who's going to do marketing once they've created that, like if they're using John's stuff, his stuff will be here. If you have different agents, you can put in all their different headshots under one, person or whatever. So let's see, sorry, my video's in the way here. All right, so then you can just literally click on the different pieces and update what you want to update. So if you don't want it to say coming soon, you could put the property address, your how many beds and bathrooms, square footage, drop your photo in, and then you can change font, you can change color, all of that up here. if you create one that you really like, this duplicate button is really nice because you can essentially, let's say you created one last week and you want it to look the same for this week, so just hit duplicate. It's going to have all the same information if you've changed things, and then all you have to do is update the data just to match your current property that you're writing about. So you can, yeah, you want to do that? Oops.
So the other thing that is really nice about using designs versus like just another Canva software is that it connects directly to the MLS through KWLS, which is Keller Williams version of that. So what's our Kindle address? Yes. See if it works. Ontario. Okay, so this one. Okay. We're gonna select this one and it will pop up with some photos or okay. This one. Okay, so we'll select this one. Okay, so it should have all the photos that we uploaded to the MLS should pop up here. So if you were going to create some marketing around this, you could just select connect to the MLS or KWLS, and then you don't have to, well, that's a weird one, but you don't have to like download, upload all the photos again. You can just like pull things in, drag and drop. You can obviously like edit this and change it if you want and have it resized accordingly. But hypothetically, if you're, building a flyer, you might have, your template would work to have photos like this into it compared to what we're just using as our sample. So the one thing that to keep in mind is that it A, has to be on the MLS for this to work, and B, you have to give some time to sync for it to show up here. You can't be like, the front desk let you know it was coming soon or active, and 10 minutes later you're trying to build your marketing piece within designs using KWLS to upload and pull from. You might need to still upload your own photos at that point if you're trying to do it so quick. But if you put it coming soon on Monday and then you're going to put flyers before your open house that weekend, then you can use this and it should sync no problem.
I can't hear Carly.
If you click so like I can get the square footage right here, pull and type that right over. So if I put those listing details, it's right here. I can just pull the data and type and edit it to fit, this particular property as well. So it kind of having 10 screens open while you're trying to create. There's also like stock images. You don't ever really use that, but if you wanted that, there's some other things you can pull in if you're maybe creating your own. I really like the template. Have created really looking professional real estate. So that's normally where I go. I feel like you don't recreate the wheel. There's out there. So the only thing I would say is like make sure that you're checking with the office about like having the right logos on there. Things that need to be included, like I'm not going after your business if you're shooting this out via a mailer that you're going to drop, or if you're knocking or something like that, or fair housing, and that's the thing that needs to be on social, on marketing pieces. So you can start from blank. So if you have an idea or you're going to do an event and you wanted to do that, you could. If you have specific files that you want to import, you can do that. But like I said, for the most part, going to templates, I think, is the best place to start. And it's very, user friendly as far as drag and drop goes. So you could, like, for me, if I was doing this flyer here, then I would be posting it somewhere versus printing it. And they like allow you to do that. They also have a bunch of different options here if you wanted print stuff like door hangers and postcards, and here's social media square, here's social media for stories. If you're going to do like a story on Instagram, that's, click on this, it's actually formatted to fit correctly. This is if you're like posting it on Instagram, it's the right size again to fit correctly. This would be the social media wide would be like on your Facebook, your business Facebook page. If you wanted to create what's it called, a cover photo for the top of your business page, you could do that. Again, like that's coming soon, but you could put the John hand theme with the logo and like, have a really nice photo of maybe a listing that you have there. So questions about any of this that you were hoping to learn more about?
I don't think so much that. I'm curious how some of it works, just because I know we're not using it to the best of our ability. I can already see things that we need to be doing differently.
Okay.
Since we have a marketing person that is not a Keller agent or a Keller employee, do I just have them sign in as John or whoever the agent is then to do this?
I would,
Or-
yeah, that's probably what I would do. Otherwise, I don't know, Cody might be able, it's possible to add like an admin to their, team account so that they could have access. I don't know the back end of that to know for sure. The office would probably have to see if that's an option. And if not, then yeah, they would have to log in as one of you guys. The nice thing about that would be then like historically it would be saved under one of your accounts.
Right.
If they're not there anymore, then it's, under John's name. So he could always,
Yeah, because I know in the past they've done their own Canva account, and so then they've got that when they leave and we don't have it. So that
Right.
doesn't work for us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. They also have we have our own guide that we've created before we existed, but like the guide to home ownership. So it might be something for like during a buyer consult, you can, go through and edit, but it's a starting point, especially if it's somebody who's not in real estate or doesn't have a background there, that they could help, they could take some of this, edit it to your team specifically and not be starting from ground zero. There's also holiday specific ones, which is nice. If you're doing different, reach outs for 4th of July, for example. This is really quick. You can just grab it, put your name and logo on it, and it's out there, and it takes really less than 5 minutes to be able to throw in a logo and download it and put it on your system.
I knew those were out there, but I didn't know where. So now I've already learned something.
Yeah. So, they're not always like exactly how maybe I would want the design, but it's better than nothing, right? So
Right.
the day of and you're like, shoot, it's Halloween, I need to put something out. And then again, you can click toggle up here to see the ones that are specific for where you want to post them. So they're already formatted and you're not having to resize things.
Okay.
So, then holiday ones and then oh, this one's actually this client testimonial is kind of a cool one. So if you get a testimonial, you can literally like take it and drop it into one of these, graphic that we have created. It's kind of nice. I think that's it. I mean, home value. I haven't clicked on these ones in a while. There's a letter we could send to sellers. What's your home worth? And then having that marketing person come up with the copy or the verbiage that they're going to put on around these, but at least you've got the graphic to go along with it. That's eye-catching. So, yeah, that's kind of, once they pick what they want, then it's really just plug and play, and it goes really quick once you've picked the design. You can, like I said, you can always create your own too, but I feel like they have a lot of options. They also have a listing presentation I know most agents already have that, but there is some templates in here, just like there's a buyer presentation, there's a listing one too. And if you just put your cursor over the top, it kind of shows you, what that can look like. Obviously, you're going to want to update some of these photos and things so that they're photos of properties in your area. But open houses, open house flyers, bunch of different options there. So yeah,
I can already see where we can be doing things differently and better. So
good. Yeah. And I think the nice thing here is that once you learn it, and I don't think it's super hard, once you learn it, it's real quick because you pick out here's our open house one, here's the one we use for our buyer book, here's the holiday ones that we're going to use, and we just keep them as our favorites, and then we just, quickly jump in. And like the holiday ones, once you've created them, you can reuse it every year if you want it to.
well, and with her experience in advertising anyway, this will be no problem for her. So
Yeah. So it's all here. It's a matter of, grabbing
Yeah.
what you like. Cool. Oh, email signatures too. If you guys wanted, like,
sweet.
I mean, they're nothing crazy fancy, but they're something. So
Mhm.
cool. That is kind of all that I had to go over here. Was kind of trying to plug and play, and then the different options that are available. So unless anyone has any other questions, that's all we were going to go over. So
Well, I'm glad I sat in because I will definitely share the recording with our marketing person. So
awesome. Cool. Well, and then we're always happy to help. So if you've got questions or you've got questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to share what we've done or, that sort of thing. So.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you.
everyone. Yeah, have a great rest of the day.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.